Hello. Hello. Able to hear me well? Thank you so much. Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Raj Jayaraman. I head product management for Uniphore software systems based out of Chennai. So I'm going to walk you through our flagship product, which is called Aumena. So I'm sure most of us would have actually, at some point connected with enterprises like the worlds of Amazons and Flipkarts. They say your call is important for us. It will be logged for monitoring purposes and quality purposes. That is where actually we come in, because it's humanly not possible to frisk each and every call that's going through these contact centers and BPOs. So if you look at our Aumena, what we do is we actually get the logs, the voice logs from these enterprises, which we process using our systems in the background. And I will just walk you through, this is just the overall heads up on the product. So I'll just walk you through what has happened in the contact centers overall over the period of couple of decades. Initially, we had the call centers with analog channels through which people call, and there is a 1:1 connect between the customer and the customer service representative. Then it all moved towards packetized voice, where we now have voice over IP, where people come to the contact centers through other digital means. Now it has further gone into a customer engagement model, where you want to have on the cloud deployments with speech analytics powered in the background with a lot of AI and ML to analyze the data for several use cases, which I'll walk you through in the next slide. So if you look at this, the user persona of these, our flagship product is particularly on the two ends, where the workforce management, where a lot of agents taking these calls from the contact centers, because there is a per seat cost for each of these agents, right, who is actually getting paid. So are they being effectively used? Are they taking care of the customers appropriately? So how do we increase the efficiency of operations and effectiveness of agents? And on the other side, we also want to see how we can top up the the top line revenues by unearthing from the speech, because when a customer speaks, a lot of things are emotions, sentiments, a lot of value comes out of the voice, which are actually not properly tracked today, because it's humanly not possible for even a quality manager to go through the calls and understand what is happening in these calls. Maybe they may be able to monitor certain aspects of how the agent is behaving, but what is coming in the call is very, very different, right? Because people try to actually talk about your competitive brands. They ask about different types of services that you are offering, or different kinds of products you may offer. So that is actually being overlooked in most of the calls. So on the increasing the top line revenues is one aspect, and likewise, how do we improvise our the efficiency of operations overall. So these are the both ends which this product addresses. So specific use cases, if you look at the average call handling time, is very critical, because the agents are on the job like 6.5, 7 hours they spend in work, and each call average they take about 240 seconds or so. Are they being very effective? And how do we reduce the overall handling times? And how do we improvise the first call resolution? Because for the customer, he wants to call the enterprise just once. You may be calling him back several times in order to resolve the issues that he is trying to report or the queries he may have. But at the end of the day, the customer has to call once. You may be trying to go back several times, but the call has to, the issue has to be resolved. Likewise, regulatory complaints. There are insurance companies, you have to say certain things pretty fast. You can't just expand it into and then reducing the churn. The customer would probably lose interest if you are not actually taking care of the customer needs appropriately. How do you reduce the churn? And understanding the customer sentiments in the call. Some customers, who are probably the different groups of customers are there. People, the tolerance levels are low as you go higher, right? So obviously, you need to understand the sentiments coming in the call through signal analysis. And then the overall ROI improvement has to be worked upon. And then automated agent quality monitoring, which I spoke about, and higher customer satisfaction overall. So these are the use cases that we are addressing. So I'll just walk you through day in the life of Aumena, what it does. Here, the enterprise contact centers pump up a lot of voice data that comes into the repository. we take 16-bit pulse code modulated voice in waveform, and most of the calls are already redacted for sensitive customer data like social security number and so on, Aadhaar number and so on. It also comes with the metadata associated with the call, and that is pushed through the scheduled secure FTP sessions, and it comes into our system. So what we do is, in the back end, we do certain level of acoustic filtering where we reduce the noise, we cut off the music, silence, and to some extent we also redact at the second layer. And then what we do is, there is a core engine here which is a speech recognizer, which recognizes based on the phoneme based spotting of keywords and understanding what is spoken in the call. So what we do is, we do a set of pre-processing where we clip the audio, because the core engines cannot consume a long stretch of audio. So we clip that into consumable chunks, and then we prepare that audio, and then we create set purpose for what the core engines are actually trying to do, right? Because core engines don't have a purpose. All they do is basically look into the call and able to spot certain key phrases coming in the call. Maybe in the first 10 seconds, what is being spoken. So we say that you check if these words or key phrases are being spoken. Likewise, in the mid of the call, what is being spoken by whom. Like that, towards the end of the call, whether the call is ending in a proper note. So we set purpose. This is where we have created this BPM layer spun around the core engines. So we do send the chunks to the core engine, and the core engine basically does a binary out saying whether the key phrases are spotted or not. And once based on the results, because we have set the business rules, right? Business goal is probably improvised collection could be a business rule. The goal. So from the business goal, we translate into a set of business rules, which translates into what keywords to be looked in the call for. So for example, in the opening of the call, the agent should have told very good morning, welcome to so and so, right? If he has not told those things, then we know the customer satisfaction is going to reduce. So we have certain formula in the backdrop which takes in all these cores and calculates and appropriately get the results out, which can be further analyzed, through our analytics layer, and then followed by the visualization layer, which gives you all these dashboards and charts. And the three pillars of the product is fundamentally the speech engine, which does speech recognition as well as speech to text and key phrases spotting, and emotion detection in the call in terms of whether irate customer, how the customer is speaking, the tonality and all that. And then the adaptation of the dialect, because per language there could be sub dialects within the language, and then the background noise removal, amplitude correction, all that is done. In the rating engine, where we set business goals, business rule hierarchy, multi-tagging of multiple different business rules together in cascading, and then scoring, and then creating the business rule groups. And then further the output is further analyzed, and we have an interactive dashboard with slicing and dicing of data. The user can actually play with the DB, and then the correlation analysis across with the metadata to derive meaningful insights. So this is a sample dashboard of our product, where you see the agent performance score, the weekly trend of the agent performance score, location-wise performance, and then the business rule. What are the business rules they got hit and how many number of hits? For example, total number of records, call opening, call closing, speech overlaps, script adherence. All these are all metrics that we actually look for, and then that comes in part of the dashboard for quick consumption. And then the overall agent performance score by agent ID, and then the overall calls cloud. All these have drill downs, and then number of complaints received in the calls, premium payment related, payment not updated, extra deductions, likewise queries on account status, closure, charges, rate of interest, and so on. All these scores are collected from the calls, and this is humanly not possible to go through each and every call. So that is where we come in and add value. So from the innovative perspective, we have the best of the breed automated speech recognition engines, including the proprietary engine of ours. We work with Nuance, Google, IBM Watson, and we have our own open source based engine. And then we have patented voice and music activity detection, speaker diarization, who is who in the call. So it actually in a mono call, you only get one stream of voice. So we actually we are able to distinguish who is who. and we have patented those aspects, and 100% of calls are monitored, and it's on a SaaS based model, pay as you go or flexible pricing. And then the language coverage, well, time is up, sorry. So yeah, any questions? Yeah.